Another ball. It'll go in the trunk.
Kelvin Martin has been a big part of this Cowboy team. He's one of those guys who's not a starter, but he is a guy that is a third wide receiver. And when he comes in as a third wide receiver, he's the guy they go to for touchdowns and for getting first downs on third down.
Well, that discussion is continuing.
Well, you don't know what they're discussing. There's no instant replay, so they can't be talking about what happened. That's a touchdown. It's ball, and the ball has to break the plane. You watch again, his knee's not down yet, and then right there, the ball touches the plane.
We didn't hear what, and you didn't hear what Jerry Markbright had said. It had nothing to do with the fact that it was a touchdown. It was called unsportsmanlike conduct against the 49ers. It'll be enforced on the Dallas kickoff. High snap. The extra point is blocked. Berline couldn't get it down before Elliott got there.
There's some happy guys over on that sideline. Kelvin Martin, who just made the touchdown. Troy Aikman walking by. You know, who always looks the same. You know, Troy Aikman never looks like he gets overly excited about anything. And I think that's the way he plays football. And I think that he's been, you know, so good for this team.
Well, that's what he said yesterday. That's the way I am.
The toughest thing, he said, is to have patience. He knew that he had to have patience in this game. And he said he's learned to have patience, except if he's behind. He really hasn't had to test that one today.
His father was in the pipe fitting business. Let's see what happened to the ball.
I mean, that thing is so low that that's not very much fun. I mean, you're in there blocking your big old Mark II and A. You've had a tough day anyway. You know, you've had to go against Tim Harris and all those guys. You get there for the extra point, and the kicker hits you in the back.
Started to say a minute ago, Troy's father was in the pipe fitting business, working in connection with the oil business, and Troy himself worked in that profession one summer, long enough, he said, to let him know that's not what I want to do.
I know it, and anytime you think of Troy Aikman from UCLA, it's hard to imagine that he's really from Oklahoma.
Right. Henrietta. Elliott's kickoff out of the end zone. Last time two visiting teams went to the Super Bowl, it was back in 1966. Green Bay and Kansas City, Super Bowl #1. I was there, was not a sellout.
I remember that one. That was Hank Stram at that time coaching Kansas City. Vince Lombardi, of course, the Green Bay Packers.
That would be the two teams, of course, that are visiting teams in the championship game. Green Bay beat Dallas that year to get there. Waters on the draw play. Breaks out of the pack, but they keep him in bounds. 3.5 minutes left to play. Kevin Smith made the stop. 9-yard gain for Waters.
You know, this defense is playing there now for the Cowboys as their nickel defense, and I think that's the best part of their defense.
And they get to Young. Indicates just what you said. Casillas.
Well, you know, now they have the good pass rush. They know that the 49ers have to pass all the time. Haley is coming from Steve Young's backside. He was the guy. He was the first guy there. He was the guy that made Steve Young put the ball down.
3 minutes left. 3rd and 8.
But this defensive team plays so well, and they're so well coached by Dave Wanstad.
Young stepped up. John Taylor. And John Taylor is tough to get down. Finally is by Darren Woodson. Flag on the play.
They were just talking about Darren Woodson, number 28. He's one of the guys that makes this nickel defense so good because he's kind of a half linebacker, half safety, and he's an excellent tackler. All those guys that are out there now for the Cowboys are good tacklers.
There was no flag. And Young stops the clock.
And here's Dave Wanstad right here, and the defensive coordinator of this defense that has been the #1 defense in football. And this season will probably be his last season with the Cowboys because he's going to be a head coach in this league next year. And he's already talked to 3 teams, the Giants, the Denver Broncos, and the Chicago Bears.
2nd and 10. Young to throw it. Again, steps up. Again, finds Rice. First down, San Francisco. 2 minutes, 18 seconds left to play. 30-20 Dallas.
Yeah, there's a point where you get in a game that you realize that your season is over, and there's a point in a game that you realize you're going to the Super Bowl, and those are extremes of emotions.
Pass is picked off by Washington. And Dallas will take over. Sherrard was the intended receiver. We have 2 minutes left at Candlestick, and the Cowboys are up by 10. That's the 4th San Francisco turnover.
I've never seen anything like it. Is this wild? Let's get...
There's George Toma. He's being interviewed right now.
There's someone called George Toma the Marquis de Sade. There is Jerry Jones.
And I tell you, he is a happy man. He knew that when he bought this team, it was going to be a real fight, a lot of work, but he did it, and he did it his way.
Now you look back at all they've done. The rainbow behind the stands, behind the Cowboy bench, and that's where it belongs. And the pot of gold down at the bottom of that rainbow for that bunch of guys in blue and white.
I'll tell you one thing about this team and these players. You have to realize that they're the youngest team in the National Football League, the Cowboys are, and I don't think that they're going to be affected by all the hoopla. And if they were, their coach, Jimmy Johnson, won't let them be affected by it.
No, he's an artist at that.
Look at that. They got the hats out already. That's amazing the way these guys get hats. I have no idea where they get this stuff. Look, they already got championship hats. This is unbelievable. And they give them to linemen. Usually just the quarterbacks get them. I bet old Nate Newton even has a hat.
Don't forget, coming up, Greg and Terry with the trophy presentation, the winner's reaction. That's followed by 60 Minutes. There's some very astute marketing expert that's already got those hats.
Yeah, you can wear 2 at a time, especially if you got a big interception towards the end of the game like Ken Norton did.
A minute left. That should tell you the story.
Well, it's a finality. You know coming in that you're this far away. You're 1 game away from the Super Bowl. And every team in football starts out to get to the Super Bowl, then to win the Super Bowl. And when you don't get there, you have to think about it the whole off season. When you do get there, right now, there's no better feeling than those Cowboys are having.
And you got a lot of good friends on that sideline.
I think Jimmy Johnson got some kind of bath there. Because I've never seen Jimmy Johnson ever wet. I've never seen him sweat, and I think they got him.
Well, you know something happened. His hair's messed up.
I think they just poured some water down his pants. He's even talking nice to the officials on that one.
Had a pretty good vertical jump. Well, boy.
That's a battle scene. This was a football game. This was a championship game. This was a game you could see coming all year. You knew that these were the 2 best teams in football. And people had argued that it was the 49ers or the Cowboys. Today, here in Candlestick, the Cowboys proved that they were the best team.
49ers out of timeout. Saxon standing back in punt formation. With Grant deep for the 49ers. Signal fair catch, so that'll stop the clock right there.
They have caps, and now they got T-shirts back. Oh, yeah.
Pasadena in the Rose Bowl. The Cowboys are headed for you. Against Buffalo.
NFC Championship.
There's my guy, Eric Williams, that big tackle. He did a heck of a job today.
So did he. Daryl Johnston, Joe Montana. How many of these games has he looked at?
And you wonder if this might be his last game in a 49er uniform.
You think so?
Yeah, we talked to him last week. He said it's up to the 49ers, but if he doesn't play, I don't think he'll be back here.
Young, the lateral out to Waters. Waters gets out of bounds. 9 seconds left to play.
Charles Haley has to be a happy guy, too. I mean, he's a guy who started this year with the 49ers. He's been to a couple Super Bowls with the 49ers. You know, this week, all the Cowboys wanted to see his Super Bowl rings, and he wouldn't show it to them. He said, I'm not going to show you mine. He said, go earn one.
When you get yours, you'll see what the Super Bowl rings look like, or when we get ours, I should say.
Yeah, he wasn't going to bring out any of his old rings to show these guys.
Pass incomplete. Intended for Sherrard. And there's the shark dance.
All he did was knock down the ball. The guy before him, though, Emmitt Smith, you have to give him so much credit that there was a point in this game where it had to be won, and they just gave the ball to Emmitt Smith, and he went out and did it. And I think the offensive line did an outstanding job. They softened everything up. The defense of Dave Wanstad, he gets to relax down there now. He's had the #1 defense all year. But doggone it, you've got to get to the Super Bowl, too, and they did that.
Goes out of bounds with no time left on the clock, and the Cowboys advance to the Super Bowl. They'll face the Buffalo Bills, who also came back from being way down. They did it this year. Did Buffalo. Dallas, well, they've achieved remarkable things.
And our congratulations to both teams, to the Cowboys for winning the championship here, for the Buffalo Bills for winning the AFC Championship.